Chapter 29. New or old, there was always a part of Jaloo which belonged to criminals. In Old Jaloo, the area was a back road in the middle of town, small, dark, and chaotic. A hole in the wall where anything went. The only problem was officials who kept trying to clean it out. That led to most of the charges leveled against JR as he tried to defend his territory. But when the city fell, JR and some of his cohorts decided to officially carve out a place in the new city for themselves. It was a fight, but JR loved a good brawl, whatever its form. A little fist action, some bribery, and a lot of intimidation later, they had sliced out a little corner of New Jaloo for themselves, a place where cops didn't go and where muscle, money, and violence ruled. And at the heart of it was the cave-in, a bar where criminals could congregate, make plans, and settle disputes among themselves. Ugh, Vic shuddered as she approached the place. I hate this place. I can never figure it out. You're fine as long as you're with me. JR bypassed a line of young posers curious to experience the roughest place in town. He grinned. They were going to see a show tonight. JR? The bouncer, a heavy-set mandrill, immediately lifted the red rope. It was his job to make sure the clueless didn't wander in here. Long time no see. Here for pleasure, I see. He exposed his fang at Vix, his attempt at a smile. Vix shuddered all the way down to her tail. I'm here for business, actually. Don't leave the place a mess. Can't promise you that, but I won't kill anybody tonight. JR flashed a grin at him as he walked inside. The place was a big open space with a bar at one end, tables, booths, and chairs on the perimeter, and an open space in the middle. In the wings of either end of the bar were pool tables. Men and women of all species crowded in on the space. Smoke filled the air and drinks sparkled in glasses. In the booth to the right sat a small gerbil. He quivered in the corner, glancing around him with quick, jerking movements. A single light shone down on him. Sherd! JR slid into the booth across from the gerbil. What's happening, my man? Sherd glared at JR. Ew, what a mug. Vic slid in beside JR. Sherd fixed his black eyes on her. What's she doing here? Same question I want to ask. Vic threw herself back in the chair. Why do I need to be here? I'm working with her on a job. JR rested his arm on the table. Do you have it? It's all here. Sherd held up a small disc. He inserted it into a small black box on the table. A list of alphanumeric code appeared in the air before him. Perfect. JR popped the disc out of the player. Here's a case for it. Sherd handed him a box the size of his palm. It will keep it from being read by unauthorized personnel. JR set the disc in. Hold on to this, Vix. Vix slid it into one of her pockets. Now about payment. JR surveyed the crowd inside the building. Is he here? At the bar. Sherd pointed with his chin to a gorilla drinking a beer. I see him. JR rotated his arm to loosen it. How bad did he get you? Sherd turned his face into the light, exposing his left cheek. A shaved patch of fur was starting to grow in, and in its wake was a scar trailing from his eye to the corner of his mouth. Ooh, what happened to you? Vic said. Batoff did. Sherd glared at the back of the gorilla's head. I'll take care of it. JR turned to Vix. Move. Vix slid out of the booth, allowing JR to get to his feet. He strode over to Batoff and tapped him on the shoulder. Batoff turned. JR! He opened his arms in welcome. Where have you been? Here and there. What brings you here right then there? Funny you should ask. JR socked Batoff in the jar so hard he flew off his chair and collapsed on the floor. Silence fell. The crowd of criminals quieted and cleared a space for JR and Batoff. The gorilla pressed his hand to his cheek and glared at JR, who shrugged. With a growl, Batoff rushed at JR. He shoved him into the wall so hard the lights overhead shook. Before JR could recover, Batoff clocked him in the nose twice. Stars flashed in JR's eyes, but he didn't let it show. JR kneed Batoff in the stomach and followed it with 2 more punches to the jaw and an uppercut to the nose. Blood seeped from the corner of Batoff's lip. He wiped his mouth before whipping out a knife out of his coat pocket. He rushed at JR again. JR sidestepped him, smacking the knife from his hand, and elbowed him in the teeth. He caught Batoff's head in his hands, headbutted him, and smashed his face in the bar. The gorilla collapsed on his back. JR knelt beside him and punched his face until blood and spit started to fly. Batoff groaned on the floor where he lay. Here's the thing. JR picked up Batoff by his collar. You messed with my buddy, Sherd. Gave him a nasty scar. You don't do that, man. Not to my guys. I don't care if he was on your territory. Sure, he can go wherever he wants as long as he ain't double-crossing nobody. Was he double-crossing you when you jumped him? Batoff groaned and shook his head. Right. JR thrust Badoff's head to the ground. The only reason you ain't dead, 'cause Sure decided to be merciful. Otherwise I would have come packing. You got it? Badoff nodded. JR surveyed all the people in the bar. Y'all got that? Everyone murmured an assent. I know I haven't been round a lot, but don't take it for granted. JR narrowed his eyes. You never know when I'll show up again. He beckoned to Shirt, who scurried over. Now what do you got to say to my bud, Bad? Sorry, Badoff groaned. And? Badoff only gave a questioning groan. Thank you for not wanting me dead, JR said. Thank you, Badoff said. Shirt nodded. His shoulders relaxed. Great. JR grabbed Badoff's shirt and hauled him to his feet. No hard feelings, man. Had to lay down the law. You know how it is. Badoff stumbled on his feet but gave JR a nod. Someone get him taken care of before he passes out. JR called to the crowd. Instantly, two of Badoff's companions rushed forward to escort him out. One more thing, JR said to the crowd before they dispersed. JR pointed to the bar where Vix was sitting. Vix is my girl. We ain't a thing anymore, but she's mine all the same. He narrowed his eyes at some of the larger guys in the room. Don't make her feel uncomfortable here. Dig? The crowd at large nodded and then went back to their previous activities. JR beckoned to Vix before heading outside. I love watching you bring the smack down. Vix linked her arms with his. I know, JR flexed his free bicep. Why else do you think I brought you here? We are not getting back together. JR raised an eyebrow. Who said anything about that?